one, fight.
And that's the bottom line.
And his kick is good.
I need a weapon.
You cannot escape.
You forget 1,000 things every day. How about you make sure this is one of them?
Here we go.
It's time for the main event.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Single Player Experience. The podcast is all about helping you find your next single-player game to play. As always, I'm your host, Sebastian Mauldin, your guide through the wonderful, weird, and sometimes wallet-draining world that is solo gaming. And folks, fall is officially here. That's right. The air is crisp. My wife is out there living her best pumpkin spice latte life, and football season has my anxiety levels doing absolute sprints. I'm an Eagles fan. We haven't really put together a holistic game all year. It's been good halves. We have a good record, but for some reason, I don't feel good. I don't feel good about what my team's doing right now. But, you know, it is what it is. It's football anxiety, but you're not here to hear me talk about football. That's right. You're here to talk. We're here to talk about video games. So let's get to it. You know what else fall brings besides, pumpkin spice, Halloween, football, all that goodness? It also brings a glorious event that every PC gamer should mark on the calendar, Steam Next Fest. So it's that magical time where Steam drops hundreds, and I mean hundreds of free demos for the upcoming titles that you are going to want to get your hands on. And if you love single player games like I do, this is basically Christmas in October. Yeah, that's right. It's sort of like Hallmark where they throw a whole bunch of Christmas movies way before Christmas season, but for video games. Anyways, so this past week and a half, I rolled up my sleeves. I fired up that Steam Deck. I fired up my PC, and I dove headfirst into demo after demo. And today, I'm going to be breaking down the absolute best single-player experiences from Steam Next Fest Fall of 2025 edition. So let's get into this week's Sleeper Pick Thursday. Let's go. All right, so you just heard the transition. You know what time it is. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Sleeper Pick, the segment where I spotlight a single-player game that deserves way more attention. These are the hidden gems. They're the under-the-radar titles. They're the games that slipped past your radar that are absolutely worth your time. In this segment, I like to tell a story, a.k.a. the story behind the game. I'll tell a little bit of information about the devs who made it, and I'll also tell you why this game just might be your next great single-player experience. So, without further ado, let's get started with the Sleeper Pick. First game. All right, so let's kick things off with Force Strike. Force Strike is a game, I mean, literally, we're going to kick things off with because this is a martial arts roguelike that absolutely hits hard. If you heard anything about the show, if you know anything about your boy, you know I love me a roguelike game. So anyways, in this game, you play as you, a martial artist on a journey to free the Emperor from an evil admiral's influence. The cool twist? You got this cool ability called Foresight, which lets you kind of rehearse fights in your mind before facing them for real in real life combat. So that's kind of what drew me to the game, everybody. I liked the ability to kind of like see what strategies I should play in real time and then kind of rewind the clock back and see, whether or not I liked that strategy or if I wanted to do something, attack in a different manner. So I like the Force Strike ability. I thought it was kind of unique and I thought it was an interesting premise. So full transparency, the lore in the very beginning is absolutely a lot. When I played the demo, I was just like, man, I am going to read a lot right now because like it felt like I kind of wanted less is more and kind of like a soft introduction to the gameplay mechanics as opposed to like finding out immediately what the story entailed, like all the story. I mean, all the story. But yeah, I get it. The dev really wanted us to actually get involved into the narrative that they're trying to tell, which is a pretty cool story. With all that said, though, I feel like this demo came out of the gates a little on the slow side because of all the lore dump in the very beginning. But like once those like punches and kicks start flying, this game absolutely sings. It's got a absolute slick 2D art style that channels that classic kung fu kind of like atmosphere. It kind of reminds me of like kung fu flicks, but in 2D form. And I love how, I would say, responsive this game feels. It feels kind of like it flows almost like a fighting game sometimes, but then like it feels like a fighting game, but in a 2D landscape where you're also trying to like watch all the things around you in a beat 'em up fashion. So it feels like a amalgamation of like a whole bunch of different genres, and I'm here for it. So the combat, like I said, it feels modern, it feels fast, it feels responsive, and most importantly, it has a satisfying like impact to it. Every punch lands with that crunchy impact that makes you go, "Oh yeah, that's the good stuff." Like I just messed this dude up. So, ladies and gentlemen, Four Strike is the kind of roguelike that kind of rewards precision and planning, but and it also has that pick up and play factor to it. So like I feel like at any given moment I can be in the mood for this type of game and I can just pick up my Steam Deck. That's my console of choice when I'm playing small roguelike indies like this one, and I can just go ham and get lost into the sauce that is this kung fu 2D roguelike game. So I like it. It feels like it rewards precision and planning and not just button mashy, but it also feels pick up and play friendly, if that makes sense. Anyways, Four Strike is launching November 17th of 2025. And yeah, it's already on your boys' wish list. And it probably should be on yours too. If you like 2D, like almost like beat 'em up, but roguelike kung fu type of joints, this one's gonna be for you. I definitely recommend it. All right, so let's dive into the next game that I thought was a true highlight from Steam Next Fest. This is a game that as soon as I played it, I just knew I had to put it on this list. It's called Hail Maiden. Hail Maiden is like a weird mashup between Hades and Vampire Survivors. It's a bullet hell deck builder where every run feels like absolute chaos incarnate. And I mean that in the best way possible. You play, you kind of pick which gates of hell you want to dive into, and you fight endless waves of demons. You kind of collect cards as you go, and those cards upgrade your attack abilities. So if you play Vampire Survivors, you kind of get the general premise here. Like, as you defeat enemies, they drop gems. Those gems allow you in turn to level up. Then when you level up, you pick cards. Those cards allow you to pick different attacks, whether it be like these flaming swords, whether it be that rotate around you, whether it be like these bulbs of light that kind of shoot out, whether it be like also like different things like I would say like dash, like this. There was this dash attack that was really cool where it left a trail of energy that killed enemies behind you. I'm like, there's so many unique attacks to this, and then like in every different time you level up, you don't also get the choice of like choosing a weapon. Sometimes you get weapon upgrade cards, which is like it'll give you like three random cards, and you can choose whether to upgrade your uh, attack by 30% increase in damage, or instead of that, maybe update how many of those attacks you actually shoot out. So as opposed to like I shoot out one lightning blast, no, now I shoot out two. So you can upgrade and duplicate how many of those go into effect. Then like certain like attacks have like actual like area of effects that go into play, and you can choose to like spread that out even further. So there's like a crazy amount of different like combos and combination of cards that make each run feel very unique, and I really love that. So yeah, you had those flaming swords, you had the exploding light bombs, and then there's this really cool thing that kind of made this game stand out as opposed to just being a Vampire Survivors clone, and that was like the ultimate attacks. So the ultimate attacks in this game look straight out of like a magical girl transformation scene. I'm talking about like it felt like I was playing Sailor Moon sometimes, to where like they'd have these like cool over the top attacks that would basically like light the whole screen on fire, to where you do like these big overarching flame attacks on one, or maybe like one character, her overall like finishing attack, shot out this big beam of light that she shot out almost like a Kamehameha wave. And there's this real cool anime cutscene that they do right before they launch each attack, and I love it. Absolutely love it. You're seeing one right here if you're watching the B-roll. This was called Dante's Inferno, and loved how these anime this like cutscene is before she launches like this big wave of fire energy across the screen that just absolutely messes all the opponents up around you. Love that. Anyways, the game, Hail Maiden, it's stylish, it's intense, it's brutally difficult, especially because unlike Vampire Survivors, you actually have to aim your attacks. It's like you using the right stick, the controller. Like, let's say you have an Xbox 360 controller or a PS5 controller, whatever controller you like to use when playing your PC games. You basically use the one of the right analog sticks as like your twin stick shooter. So that's how you aim each attack as they fire it out. So it is a lot more, I would say, hands on than Vampire Survivors, where Vampire Survivors, I can just play that with one analog stick and just absolutely, as long as I knew where I wanted to go, I can just play that with one hand. This one, you have to be attentive because they will mess you up if you're not. But when you finally hit that like flow state, even though the game is like a little more difficult because of that, it's absolutely glorious. I'm talking about so satisfying. Anyways, no release date yet for Hail Maiden, but it's officially on my radar. I think you should definitely go reach this game and or give it a follow, so you'll definitely know when this game comes out. Hail Maiden, it's going to be a banger. All right, so I want to talk about the next game that absolutely wowed me during Steam Next Fest. It is a game that I admit it makes me feel like I have a type. You already know I'm a roguelike sicko, but like as soon as I saw this game and the trailer for it, absolutely knew I had to download it and play it. It's right up my alley. It is Amber and Blade. Amber and Blade hooked my ass fast. I'm talking about as soon as I like played it, I was sucked in. Imagine Amber and Blade. Like, let me give you a general pitch for this game. Imagine if Hades, Vampire Survivors, and Dynasty Warriors had like this three-way baby going on. And that's pretty much what Amber Blade is. It's fast, it's fluid, it's chaotic. And I mean all that in the best way possible. It's Hades because like as you're leveling up and moving around, it feels like that style of like roguelike game. It's Vampire Survivors in the sense that like there's a horde always coming at you and they drop these little beads that allow you to kind of level up as you kind of play. It's Hades also in the fact that like the characters and all the like actual NPCs around you also look like they are male models or female models, like they have this model like quality to them. And there's also like a story that I think is very reminiscent, not necessarily of Hades, but it's like they tell a story that I feel like in a Hades like fashion. So it's all that. But then like you get to the Dynasty Warriors and the Muso like fashion to where you have all these enemies on your screen and it feels like you're playing Dynasty Warriors or like the Zelda variation of it to where like you're just hacking and slashing and beating the hell out of any enemy that comes into your way. And believe me, there are hordes of them that do. But you get into this flow state and it feels so satisfying to where you almost feel like you can turn your brain off and just enjoy the being a Terminator. The art game, like the art in this is absolutely gorgeous. The voice acting sells the world. I mean, absolutely puts you into the lore. And the gameplay loop, it's addictive as hell. It nails that just one more run feeling that we all chase when we love playing these roguelike and light games. So, man, if you are looking for a game that you should absolutely put on your wish list as soon as possible, is Ember and Blade. You play as a demon hunter who's made a pact with an angel, and the combat feels so smooth, and you kind of forget how many times you actually died because like you always want to go into that one more run. Ember and Blade, man. I came in thinking like, okay, I kind of see what this game is going to be, and then I just left fully converted and immediately wishlist this one. So keep your eyes out for this one. It comes out in Q3 of 2026. I know it's a long wait, but dang, man, I feel like we're going to get updates to this game, and each one of those updates are going to make me more excited to just jump into this game. All right, so let me tell you about the next game I want to recommend to you from Steam Next Fest that I really enjoyed. It's called Repel the Rift. It's the exact type of game that I lose whole weekends to. Let me kind of explain why. In Repel the Rifts, you're setting up towers. That's right. It's a tower defense game. And you're strategizing against alien hordes that basically want to make it to you to take you out. So in this game, every in this tower defense game, every night aliens come at you, and during the day, you have to set up different mechs to basically combat those aliens and kill them before they kill you. So, for instance, you have this tunnel that you create. You start off with like four different squares in a grid like system. And in each night, you expand that grid like system to make it go left, right, or straight. And you kind of can twist that grid around to try to make it as long as possible so that you have as many spaces to put like your mech turrets down to kill aliens before they get to you. So it feels simple, but then there's so much complexity to that I really enjoyed. So like certain mechs that you put down only do certain things. The Crusher, for instance, only crushes any aliens that are in the tiles next to it. The beam rifle turrets only shoot aliens within like 5 tiles away from it. Then you have like these mechs that shoot grenades out. They only do area of effect damage. So they are really cool, but they're really cool because they do like damage to a lot of people, but you have to level those things up really fast. That's right, you have to level up each tower, or else those things are going to absolutely mow you down and kill you. Those aliens, that is. So you start off small, and like true roguelike fashion, you end up chasing that power scale into where you feel like you become like a god amongst men. And I love that. Absolutely love that. So it's a really cool game. I think it's a really fun premise that feels unique. It feels like I played this game before, but I haven't in a weird way. Like I love this. So again, you're setting up these towers, you're strategizing against alien hordes, you're fine tuning your defense until it's perfect or until everything collapses and you're screaming at your monitor, aka your screen. I like to call that my Steam Deck. Anyways, the art style here is absolutely clean, it's vibrant. The upgrades, like when you upgrade your mech, feel absolutely meaningful. You can set like you can upgrade the rate of which they fire, you can upgrade their damage, you can upgrade little things that make like each run feel unique, and I love it. And it has this one more run, one more wave kind of itch to it that I feel like all tower defense games should share. I think this game is going to absolutely be a Steam Deck must have, if you know what I mean. Like if this game comes out to on Switch as well, I think this is the perfect pick up and play. I travel on the go with this type of game. Like I could see this being a game that is going to be a cult classic in that fashion. So yeah, I feel like the only downside is the controller input can use a little more love, but as opposed to that, I like okay, let me explain. By the way, sometimes I had to switch between mouse to make like selections. I feel like some of that is just like this game's early in development. So I feel like they're still working out some of the kinks here with like controller configurations. But outside of that, I feel like everything else worked really well. The only other critique I have of this is like Repel the Rifts absolutely delivers, but it was supposed to drop October 13th according to a Steam page, but it didn't have that full release. So hopefully we get more information about that soon. Hopefully with a new date, maybe a kick-ass trailer. I want it all because this game absolutely deserves attention. I love the premise. I love the actual game itself. I played this demo for about 45 minutes, and that was just one run. And then I played it for another one. It's amazing. I love it. Repel the Rifts. Can't wait until it comes out. Definitely wishlist it. Y'all, there's this feeling that I love with indie games. And I mean this specifically with indie games because, like, indies, I feel like, give me more bang for my buck and surprises, with video games. With AAA games, especially with the price tag that a lot of them have, I'm sort of expecting them to deliver at least some level of performance that is high quality. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm paying $70, I'm expecting to get like a $70 premium experience because that's top of the line in video games, right? I'm not talking about that $80 bullshit that Nintendo's doing. Anyways, I digress. So with indie games, I love when indie games come along and they just take me by surprise and like deliver far above its weight class. I love that feeling. It's no better feeling in video games to me at the moment. So I say that to preference and say this. There's a game called Constance that really surprised me. I saw it on Steam Next Fest and I thought, okay, this is obviously a Metrovania. It's got a style to it. It's got a cool look to it. I wonder how this game is going to feel to play, and I wonder how it's going to stand out in an extremely crowded genre that is Metrovania games. With that said, this game delivered. Oh my gosh, it hit me with that 1-2 punch. Constance. It's a Metrovania where you fight, traverse, and solve puzzles with a paintbrush. And I mean literally with a paintbrush. You are throwing two pieces in a biscuit with this paintbrush, and the combat feels satisfying. The platforming feels like it is a real unique challenge. And it made me feel like I was absolutely a platforming novice, but when I absolutely made it to my goal, felt like so satisfying. It felt like I imagined that this is what Souls like players feel whenever they absolutely finally beat the boss that they were struggling with. That's how I felt with this game. Anyways, the game's got some meat to it. It's got this really cool perverse system where like there's a puppet curse that makes the enemies, you can like go back to the shrine, which is a checkpoint, or you can choose to take the curse on, and that curse basically makes the enemies around you about 40% harder, but in exchange you get to like respawn right at the spot of which you died. And I thought that was a really cool mechanic. You kind of get to choose your own poison, whether you wanted to go back to a checkpoint or the checkpoint's too far away, let me run it back in this exact location, just make all the enemies harder. I love that. I love that unique kind of function to this game. Anyways, yeah, in Constance, you splash paint around the world. You use paint to kind of dodge attacks and even snapshot areas to mark secrets on your location. Love that. The snapshot feature is absolute genius. I think every Metrovania should steal that and have it immediately. I think we saw this in Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Like if I remember correctly, this should be a staple. Anyways, the art direction of this game is absolutely beautiful. It's vibrant, it's whimsical, and it has this a little eerie factor to it that I think is like sensational as well. The enemy designs, I think, absolutely pop. The platforming feels fair but challenging, and the boss fight in this demo was chef's kiss. It was that perfect mix of like really cool boss level design and challenge, but yet obtainable challenge, if that makes sense. It felt like if I died, it felt like it was my fault as opposed to the game feeling cheap. And that's what you want out of a platformer, a Metrovania game, and what you want out of good boss fights. I love this. I loved this demo. Absolutely thought it was absolutely sensational. I would probably give this a 5 out of 5 based on my experience with it. I played a little over an hour with it, and by the end of that hour, I was just like, I need this game like ASAP. This game scratched the itch that Hollow Knight, of Hollow Knight, without it being punishing for as Hollow Knight is. This game's releasing November 25th, and I'm 100%. I mean 100% playing it on day one. This is Constance. Definitely go wishlist this game. All right, so let's talk about the next game that I absolutely adored, during Steam Next Fest, and that was Marvel Cosmic Invasion. This was a surprise that absolutely blew my mind because, like, I knew that there was a Marvel game coming out this year that was slated for this year, but I really hadn't heard too much about it. And one of the things that took me off guard instantly and that I absolutely loved was how detailed the pixel art is for this game. I love how detailed Spider-Man is, She-Hulk, Black Panther, Captain America, Storm, like all the characters look like a throwback to their 90s counterparts, and I'm here for it. So if you didn't know, Marvel Cosmic Invasion is a pixel art beat 'em up game where you play as, Wolverine, Storm, Captain America, Rocket Raccoon, Spider-Man, Jean Grey, and Iron Man, and a whole lot more. Like there's a whole roster of characters there. It's retro in all the right ways. So the pixel art is absolutely perfect. It's satisfying combat. It has voice acting that I think is absolutely superb and feels true to each and every hero. Spider-Man, his voice acting is on point. He feels quirky. He feels like he is that nerdy, like kind of like cool in a nerdy kind of way, Peter Parker. She-Hulk feels like she's sassy, but also like got it going on in the right ways. Like Storm feels like that powerful goddess that she absolutely is. I loved all the voice acting, and Captain America felt like the tried and true Captain America. So like loved everything about the voice acting in Marvel Cosmic Invasion. I tested out multiple characters. So I played as She-Hulk, I played as Rocket Raccoon, Spider-Man. In my playthrough, I also played as Cap. I think Cap to me felt the best considering the playstyle that I liked. He definitely had that kind of like a mixture between throwing the shield, which is his range abilities, and these really cool, impactful, up close and personal melee strikes that I absolutely loved. Captain America, surprisingly, was my favorite person that I played with during the demo. I feel like Storm is going to be like one of the characters people really love to play as that are absolutely in the bag of this game. Like Storm to me feels like she's going to have the most depth. Meanwhile, if you want to pick up and play character, I think Spider-Man and Captain America are the most pick up and play friendly. Anyways, after testing out multiple characters, She-Hulk wrestles enemies kind of like a pro. Rocket Raccoon, rains bullets and chaos incarnate on all the enemies around him. Cap, like I told you, he throws the shield. He gets up personal, close and personal, and he puts them two pieces in a biscuit on people. I absolutely loved everything about the gameplay about this game. The characters feel right. The voice acting is sensational. The pixel art is absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait for this game to comes out. For this game to come out. I didn't expect to love this one as much as I did, but honestly, this might be my favorite out of the bunch. Absolutely love Marvel Cosmic Invasion and can't wait to get hands on with it more. All right, so there you have it. Those were the best single player demos from Steam Next Fest Fall of 2025. If you're looking for fresh single player experiences to add to your wish list, these are the ones to absolutely watch. Like I think this had a really cool mix up from the artistic indies to the chaotic roguelikes. And it showed that this season's lineup proves absolutely one major thing, and that's single player gaming is absolutely thriving. And it's only going to get better. So shout out to Steam, for putting on Steam Next Fest. I love this because it kind of gives me a little bit of taste of what I can look forward to, and I get hands on with a lot of cool smaller experiences that pack a hell of a punch. I love those smaller experiences that punch way above their weight class, and I feel like Steam Next Fest, even a lot of the games that I didn't mention, because there's a slew of great games out there during Steam Next Fest, absolutely showcased a plethora of good up and coming video games. So if you like this episode, by the way, be sure to follow the Single Player Experience podcast for more episodes just like this, and check out the blog at thesingleplayerexperience.com for written reviews and the indie game power rankings leaderboard. So until next time, stay safe, stay gaming, and keep enjoying your single player experience. I've been Sebastian Mauldin, and I'm out.